I got chosen by the Matrix. I was chosen by the Matrix. It sought me out. It pinpointed its target upon me and said, that's the one. This is a little bit of a follow-up and insight to my last video. When I was 15, I had a membership to Cineworld so I could watch as many films as I wanted each month. Other than like the special formats like IMAX, you had to pay a bit more, even if you had a membership. But you could basically watch as many films as you wanted with that Cineworld card. And in June, I think it was, or maybe July, August, they were re-showing The Matrix in the cinema, and it was like the 4K resolution version. So I thought I'll go watch it properly for the first time from beginning to end, because I had not seen the film like from beginning to end properly before. I had seen parts of it, and I thought this would be the perfect time to actually watch the film itself from the very beginning to the very end. And that's exactly what I did. It was actually a good cinema experience. You know, I watched the film, I had lunch beforehand, I enjoyed it, I had some slushy, and I just went completely by myself at 15 to watch the film. And looking back, it feels like the Matrix itself, like this whole Matrix we're inside of, it felt like it was watching me watch the film. Like the Matrix itself was watching me watch the film The Matrix, because I believe the Matrix is a real thing, and it's observing me quite often and stalking me and looking at me. And when I watched that film, I feel like it was like, yeah, he's actually watching the film now in the middle of his like arc, his nightmare arc as I call it, and he's like watching it, going through it, etc. So I thought, like, I'm thinking all the time, like, I feel like I'm being observed by the Matrix, I'm being observed by these entities, I'm being watched by angels, demons, all this shit, getting bad luck, you know, having crazy shit happen, having things that almost went perfect go completely south, and I'm being fucked by the Matrix. But there's some things in my life that seem kind of symbolic or seem kind of like foreshadowing and all that, and that felt like a foreshadowing type of moment for me, because I as a kid read quite a bit of comic books. As a kid, as a teenager, I read quite a bit of comic books, and in comic books, what they often do is they'll use foreshadowing quite a lot, even more than in films. A good example would be like in the Batman The Long Halloween. Before Harvey Dent becomes Two-Face, they often show Harvey, like half of Harvey Dent's face in the comic book to the side, or and half of it is in like is in the shade, and half of it is in the light, to foreshadow and symbolize that he'll become Two-Face by the end of the comic. And they do that quite often. I feel like there's so much foreshadowing in my life, like random shit like that type of foreshadowing happening quite often, and that was a good example of what's to come in the future of my life. Was the Matrix. But yeah, foreshadowing that kind of like that kind of art, that kind of thing is something I feel like I see quite often, and I quite like it. It's quite cool. Sometimes I just see something in my life that just resembles another part of my life, or just looks kind of artsy and looks kind of like it's foreshadowing something. I'll think, yeah, like this is so cool, like that this thing that just happened like resembles something else, if you know what I mean. I'm struggling to think of another example like I can compare it to, but I don't know, like in Star Wars they did it as well. I think like with Anakin's hair, they tried to make like the hair look longer, so it's almost like the shape of like Darth Vader's helmet in the future, and just stuff like that. Star Wars they do it quite well, but in actual comic books, there's a lot of foreshadowing in comic books specifically, because they can use the art to like make it look cool, you know. But yeah, like my life feels like it was like I had a lot of that at a young age before the 2020s, and at the beginning of the 2020s I had a lot of that, right? And then like after the 2020s, all the Matrix shit was happening, all that stuff was happening. Like, I felt like I was being stalked by angels. I felt like I was being stalked by the demons, those entities, that realm, that dark realm of those nefarious entities. And nothing had to go right. Things don't need to go my way. There isn't always a happy ending. Some things are just meant to go bad. Really bad. Because this world, like, what makes you think this world needs to be controlled by a benevolent entity? It can be a malevolent entity. It can be a nefarious being. It can be controlled by many nefarious beings that you do not know of. And incredibly cruel, incredibly violent, and don't give a fuck. I'd compare it similar to if you're playing GTA 5 and you go about shooting people in the street randomly in the video game. You don't care at all about anyone there. You just think this is a game. I think that's similar to how those entities view this realm. They just view it as a fucking game. And they don't care about any of you at all. They view you so insignificantly. It's unreal. But I really feel like I can so imagine like an angel or like a being like watching over my life as if it's like a movie, just observing it, laughing at it, like eating popcorn, watching what's going to happen, waiting for this moment to happen so they can like get invested into it, like just at watching it like it's a movie. And I really think this has happened. You know, I do believe those beings from the heavens that have watched over my life and they've really stalked me, like because they knew there's something about me in particular. I'm a chosen one. So I'm cooking some in the oven. I'm a chosen one. I'm also born a master number in numerology as well. So, you know, that's another thing. But when I look back at my life, it feels like nothing was like random. Everything was kind of like orchestrated and planned out from the beginning to create certain outcomes in my life, to create certain like finalities and endings to parts of my life and beginnings and just everything, every person I come across, every place I've been to, everything I've been through. It feels like there was like a reason for it. Like it was really planned out by some dark or angelic being. I don't know what's going on, but there's something else at play here. It's not just the physical. It's not just the physical realm. There's a fifth dimension, the spirit realm. That whole world. That's what's going on, right? That's what's happened. And I don't care what people think. Like, if they think I'm just some random guy, if they think I'm a crazy person or whatever, like, I do not view these people like on the same level as me, and I don't even view these people as people necessarily. I just view most randoms like NPCs. I view most people like NPCs, like unimportant NPCs, like just all that stuff, you know, everything like that. But yeah, like that's what I've got to say is like I can really look back at my life and it feels like a movie. It does feel like a crazy movie in a lot of ways. It does feel like a movie. And it's interesting what will happen next, but it feels like some things have just gone on for too long, you know. Some things in my life have just gone on way longer than they need to, and it's time for these events to end, you know. It's time to bring an end to all the dark shit in my life. That's what I've got to say. Mysterious out.